getting a divorce.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, it's a sad, sad day when love dies.
It's clear that basically a lot of stuff has happened since the end of season 3. I don't know how long it's been since the end of season 3, but my feeling is months, right?
Yeah.
Months. It could be 3, 6, 9 months. Because one thing we learn is that Tom and Shiv are separated. And Tom calls Shiv early on in the episode and tells her he had a drink with Naomi Pierce. And he tries to explain it's not like, I actually think, I watched this a couple times, and my sense was Tom was saying he's not actually dating Naomi Pierce. Like, I don't actually think there's anything sexual going on between them.
I agree.
But he was just telling her because he's like, I don't want you to read about it in the paper and wonder what's going on. But Tom was stuck in a place where he couldn't tell Shiv why he had lunch or dinner with Naomi Pierce, but he had to tell her that he did, and so it comes off looking super sketchy, right? And she is kind of a jealous type as far as I can tell. She's very unhappy with this development. So it was very fun seeing both Shiv and Kendall kind of struggle with this possible news that Tom is potentially sleeping with Naomi. I don't think he is. I don't think they are, but it was funny. They're both like clearly very flummoxed by the idea.
It's fine. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a second watch of this, I also was paying a lot of attention to the way that Tom was delivering that information to Shiv, because I was like, the hint seemed to settle in eventually. Like, it's like she had a big like jealous reaction and then put the pieces together of like, well, why would they be talking? And I was like, did Tom do that on purpose? Like, or like even subconsciously, was there a part of Tom that knew that by notifying Shiv that he had just been like in a private conversation with Naomi I think Logan's next move?
I think Tom just still cares a lot about Shiv. That's kind of my sense. He still cares a lot about Shiv, and he's like, I don't want her to have her feelings hurt by reading about the Naomi thing in the paper, so I have to tell her, even if it's going to blow things up with Logan, which is what happens, basically.
Yeah.
Right?
I also read it as a parallel to what Shiv does at the end of the episode, of like, that there is a somewhat valid excuse for them to like reach out or like potentially cross paths again, but they're both kind of like a little bit maybe leaning on an excuse out because they're like, oh, I can't just call you outright and say, I want to talk right now.
I didn't get that, but you know, it's, if you saw that, then I'm not going to say it's an invalid reading.
We cut back to New York, which we're assuming is maybe like the next day for Shiv.
It's like the next morning. It's like, because Tom has woken up and he's like very sleepy.
Okay, so, it's like super early in the morning.
Yeah, it's like, 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. or something.
Okay.
And then Shiv and Tom have this confrontation where they basically decide they should probably get divorced. It's heartbreaking, I think, because Roy family kids would literally rather get divorced than go to therapy, Kim. I think it's sad because I think really Shiv does need to have that conversation.
Yeah.
That's part of the first step to getting peace, is like being honest with yourself, being honest with those you love.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad that Shiv is in a family where they don't talk about their feelings,
Yeah.
And if you are from a family that doesn't talk about their feelings, you can like recognize that. But I think it's actually really valuable for people to talk about their feelings, so long as it's done in a constructive way, because it's the first step towards healing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she will ever heal because she will never acknowledge what's a reality.
I just also want to take a second to commend Sarah Snook and Matthew McFadden in this episode, because like they are so good at that particular dynamic. And when Tom's voice goes kind of like soft and says like,
do you really want to get into a full accounting of all the pain in our marriage?
Oof, like you know exactly what he's talking about, because we've been witnessing all of this emotional pain between them.
It is a very beautiful moment at the end when they kind of lie in bed and they acknowledge that their marriage is over. I don't want to bring up any bad memories for you or any of our listeners, Kim, but I do think like I have been in a relationship that has ended before, and there's usually like this kind of relief at the end where you're still talking with the person, like you're still in their presence, but you have concluded that it is over.
Yeah,
and there's like a freedom and a tragedy that comes from that I think this scene does a good job of capturing, them lying in bed, not being able to talk about their feelings, and realizing that they need to move on.
Yeah, like the swords are down.
Yeah.
Like at least we're both on the same page that this isn't a fight for our marriage anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, we gave it a go.
And I will say, when I was like, I got worried about tragedy. Something about the way that the episode was shot with Shiv coming back to the house and it being dark and quiet, and she sort of seems like she's looking for something almost, but like before I knew what she was doing there, I had a flash worry that she was about to find Tom's body. That like
Wow.
I know that's so dark, but I was like,
why? What for? Under what circumstances?
because Tom, I mean, Logan losing the Pierce deal was extra bad for Tom. Like his whole setup was like he was trying to celebrate that win with Logan kind of early. Maybe if this works.
It was kind of Tom's fault too that it happened.
It
Because
was.
He's the one that kind of gave away the Pierce situation to Shiv.
It was. He just seemed not in a good place, especially after the events of season 3. And then so I don't know. I just had this flash. And then when I saw him, I was like a little bit relieved. And then I was like, oh, the sad thing happening is just like their divorce is being finalized. But I felt for a second that Succession could go that dark that quickly this season.
You're really on the there's gonna be dead body, let the bodies hit the floor train. And I'm like, I think it's be very out of tone with what I've seen so far. So those will be our predictions. Hey everyone, David Chen here. Thank you so much for watching that video from Decoding TV. If you want to get an audio version of the show, all you got to do is go to podcast.decodingtv.com. And if you want to support what we do, get ad-free episodes of the podcast and also bonus episodes of the podcast, go to decodingtv.com and become a paid member. Of course, you can also like and subscribe for more. We appreciate it. Thanks. See you later.